Hi everyone! Now we will start making haptic patterns for different game sensations. Assets. Before we start working on those patterns, make sure you downloaded the audio samples in the video description. They all come from the Unity 3D game kit, and I selected a few of them. You will also find the corresponding Unitouch Studio file that I made for each audio sample. The audio sample we are working on in this episode is a melee attack from Helen, the game's heroine. As we can see, she uses a club or a staff to fight in hand-to-hand combat. Here is the sound to it. Let's first describe the audio sample. Its duration is half a second. It's a one-shot audio sample, which means it's only triggered once, its intensity is medium, and it's used as a primary sensation. Concerning the spatialization, the main character is left-handed, so we'll have to spatialize the effect on the left side of the vest, around the arms area. Let's describe its temporal sequence. We have one ramping up attack from 0 to 120 milliseconds, leading to a sharp hit from 120 milliseconds to 280 milliseconds, finishing by a short decay, reminding of a metal resonance from 280 milliseconds to 650 milliseconds. Hands on. Let's create a new pattern. Because the action of the effect is a motion coming from the character, we will use an actuator-based spatialization. So for the rise of the effect, I will use a noise that I will crop to the right length and change its volume envelope to match the audio. Then, right before the impact at 120 milliseconds, I will add a click impulse to make this attack really sharp. I will also stretch this click to make it heavier. Feel free to add silence before the hit to detach it more and make it more impactful. The middle part can be made with the attack of a gunshot or an explosion. I will use blast 1 in this example. I will crop this sample at 280 milliseconds and make a slight ramp down to follow the sound's envelope. The decay can be made with the most obvious choice, a metal hit sample, trimmed to the right size and or stretched to the right length. I will create a new track to add this sample, so that it overlaps with blast 1 and makes a smooth transition. I am fading the resonance at around the end of the sound, which would be 650 milliseconds. And that would be it for this sample. In a real game context, you will most likely need to make multiple versions of the same action to induce variety and avoid the weird feeling of unaltered repetition, just like with audio. In order to do that, you have multiple choices. You can change the haptic samples with similar ones, or you can slightly modify your samples by stretching them, moving them a bit around, and changing their volumes. Changing the spatialization can also help. Now, let's talk about spatialization. Because Helen is left-handed and uses her weapon with one hand only, we should spatialize the effect mostly to the left arm. Also, she appears to be moving a lot before hitting her opponent, so I would add motion on the rising phase of the effect. This will give a lively feeling to the action. The first part will be spatializing on the right flank. Note that you could make different versions of this effect. It could come from the right shoulder or even the bottom of the vest before ending on the left side. Make sure you add a keyframe at the beginning and end of the sample, otherwise Unitouch will interpolate the actuator's intensity across the samples. Note that you can copy and paste a keyframe. When the staff hits, we will need to reach maximum power. For this mean, the click will be on all the front actuators as the action happens there. On the blast and the decay, I will make sure the energy is stacked on the left shoulder. Finally, in order for this primary action to stand out, I will apply a 40% boost to it. our effect is done, remember to save it in a dedicated folder. I hope this episode has helped you understand how to implement haptic effects in an event and achieve a smoother, more realistic result. Next episode, I will introduce you to the new spatialization and boost features included in the Unitouch update 1.3.0. To receive more information on tutorials in haptics, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below.